Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 275 of the Audible Farm Podcast, and this episode is brought to you by the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. Go to www.fdfineartsassociation.org to find out more. They've got a great community calendar with lots of upcoming events. Their podcast links is also on there. Be sure you check out FDT. That's their podcast. They got great episodes coming up. They got an episode coming up tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So if you're listening to this episode the day it came out, go check out their podcast episode tomorrow. It's going to be tons of fun. You don't want to miss tomorrow's episode. So check it out. This week I'm sitting down with your old pal Mason. That's right, Mason joins me. Mason's been on the podcast before. He's a radio personality. It's kind of fun to sit and talk with him. Over the years, I've kind of gauged like what I do and compared it to what he does, and he does it for a living, and you know how like what I'm doing now, and being a host and being on, you know, an on-air personality of sorts, I guess. It's just kind of weird to think about it and how it differs for the two of us. We kind of talk about some of that up here. We talk about a lot of stuff, the Regional Rock Hour, recent events, upcoming events, some of his favorite music, some, you know, just some fun stories overall, pro wrestling. We get into a lot of stuff in this episode. Mason's always fun to talk to. He's always out at shows. He supports all sorts of live music, and it's just great to see him out and about. I had fun seeing him at Monsters Ball recently, so yeah, we talk about that, emceeing, all sorts of good stuff. I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's episode 275 with your old pal Mason.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
Sitting down with your old pal Mason. That is right. It's your old pal Mason. You previously you've been on the podcast. I called you Mason on air. That was your persona. But I saw online your Facebook page is your old pal Mason.
My professional Facebook page. It's you know, you got a personal page, and then if you're in an industry like me, there is maybe about 10 other pages that I like am a contributor on or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, well, why not have one of my own, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I just started going by the moniker Your Old Pal Mason a few years ago. And, you know, I had the Mason on air, and there was a whole lot of, you know, just on air pages. Mm-hmm. And so I, just figured I'd change it up.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. That's the equivalent of like the, you know, common first name, common last name, music page. There's like, you can like run into sometimes where you're like, oh, there's like 5 of these. Oh, all right. That's wild. You know, so change it up just a little bit, you know, and that's one of the things like over the last few years, that's like what I know you as is your old pal Mason. Like that's, you know, what you say online. That's what you say on the air. And I even like, I have the dialect down, your old pal Mason, you know, it's like, I hear it in my head. That's you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I try to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things.
A lot of times I think that your old pal might be like how you're like, hey, pal. You know, it's not always necessarily a term of endearment. Sometimes it's more of like, oh, this friggin' guy, you know.
Okay. That's hilarious. Oh man. But yeah, you were on the podcast in 2019. You were on in 2020 and 2021. Episode 48, episode 85, and episode 125 for anybody looking to go back for those episodes. One of the things I think is like really fun about this was I like started this podcast because there wasn't really anything like this around other than literally like your show, which was the Regional Rock Hour. And I wanted to do something that was like similar but different. So the Regional Rock Hour is something that's been around. How long has it been around now? 2016, 15?
2017. I think we just had our we had our 8th birthday back in April.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it started in 2017 because there was a precursor in 2016 to the show. It was based off of Loco Fest Preview Show is what it was called. And it was promoting a 3-stage single-day festival, Cassuth County Fairgrounds right there in Algona. Eve 6 was the headliner. They had Smile Empty Soul, and a whole bunch of these bands that, tour and play the clubs. And it was the Afterlife
Oh
lounge there.
yeah, yeah.
Great venue. They were huge supporters of the hard rock scene, metal scene in particular. And that's what this was. Well, they came to us for advertising, and they asked me because I'm about the only guy around that knows anything about it. And we had a classic rock station, our classic hits station that we're going to put this show on. And, that was kind of all right, make it a special thing. And then that's how you can justify airing it at this time. And then that's kind of just regional rock hour. It was a few months after that, Dead Horse Trauma was going to play the Rock Room at Patty's Pub.
Oh, cool.
So I thought, I've already got some of their music. I've got all this other music. And it's going to be a lot of fun going and finding and sharing a bunch of music from Iowa that people don't know.
Yeah.
And I had to stretch outside of Iowa too, though. Being regional rock hour, wanted to stretch outside of Iowa, mainly feature those bands that are touring, that are playing those clubs, and that are coming to places like Fort Dodge and Algona, and a lot of them, Des Moines. They're playing the smaller clubs there and stuff. But just kind of the goal, wanted to share some local stuff and try to change the atmosphere a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I always loved about it was like, if you were in a band, which I was at the time, you were able to like send like music, and you would play it on air, which was like really cool. I mean, it's one of those things that, listening to your music on the radio is it's still awesome. It's still cool to do that. Plus, like now with all like the metadata and all the information you can plug in, and people's radios being super crazy, you can see your band's name and the title of the song like right there in your car. Sometimes it's super cool. I don't know. It just seems like a fun thing to give to musicians that are out there, especially. And I don't know. I feel like the rock scene in Iowa is not huge. It's not like you can just go into every town and play. There's like not like a rock venue, but like a country band could go into basically any town and play. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, if they're willing to pay for the country band, and it's that's the thing though. Country's where the money is.
Yeah.
You know that, firsthand yourself. You can see, you play a Three Finger Betty show, you're probably not making as much as when you play with Jesse Wilson.
Very true. Yes.
And it's unfortunate, because there's room enough for all of it, and rock music, a lot goes into that as well, just as much hard work goes into making that. And, and a lot of times too, it's more people in a rock band compared to, country a lot. You can do a solo artist, or, even just having one accompaniment, or, two, as opposed to the full band. And, where were we going with this?
Yeah, I'm not really that sure. But I think it was just the fact that you had started an outlet, and I was looking at that like, this is something that's like inspirational. And that's kind of like honestly where this podcast came from. I wanted to kind of do what you were doing, but lean it into a different direction, and not like what you do is an interview with somebody for like an hour and you split it up with a bunch of music. And I kind of was just like, well, I'm not going to do the music. So if like, I'll talk to people, but if you want to hear the music, you kind of got to go to the regional rock hour, and I would interview kind of some of the same people you would every now and then, you bring in like a Jeremy Ober or whatever, I've seen Clint Riedel on your show before. He's been on here before, just stuff like that. But I always kind of pointed people like, if you want to go listen to it, you got to go over there, because that's where all the music's at. I just wanted to like differentiate it somehow and just turn it into this longer conversation with people, and, really kind of get to know people.
You've said that before. It was, a bit of an inspiration, but really like what you're doing, I think goes so much further beyond that. You get into a lot more depth with people than I do, and the fact that, the whole, you're a DIY setup, like I try to use what resources I have available to my best to, do what I can. And so like, I don't know. I think you probably put in a bit more work doing your show than, mine. But,
Yeah, oh,
and
yeah, maybe.
yeah, but I mean, so I got a lot of respect for you for doing this show and what you do. Um, and that's why too is I've always tried to plug your stuff along the way too,
Oh
and
yeah.
it helps, like one hand washes the other, like,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think one of the funnest things is like every now and then somebody will message me and be like, "Oh, hey, Mason mentioned you on the radio or something," and it's really kind of fun. So I do really appreciate that, and I one of the things I thought was like what you're doing and what I'm doing are like very similar, but like stepping into your world, going on the radio and being live on air. I realize it's not the same. Like what you and I are doing right now is like a conversation, but like when you're on the air, you don't really have the luxury of just dead air. Like that's
oh
money.
yeah,
I mean, that's money. Like I never went to radio school. I never went to broadcast school. I haven't flexed that muscle. So when I'm there, I try to like be as concise as possible, and it's not always easy for me because I like to pontificate. But one of the things you and I had discussed was brevity. Is that something you learned like when you went to school, or is that something you learned on the air, or like how did you figure out how to do that well? Because that's still something I struggle with.
I mean, it's something I had to consciously work on, and I mean, I still do. And there's times I go way too long, like typical. So I do K97. Let's use this as an example. 100,000 watt station, big station, like one of our bigger money makers. I I'll have a tendency though to just kind of start going off on something, and it'll be rapid. It'll be a lot at once, but what should be a 1 minute break turns into three.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, but it's so I'll end up getting past a point where I was initially thinking, and a lot of times that is kind of the problem too, is that I don't have an end out. It's like I just kind of like I like to look at stuff fresh, and so it's like as I'm seeing it, I'm reading it and kind of reacting at the same time.
Yes.
On some stuff, there's other, of course, there's things I have to research and actually, read about a bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of things I'd rather just kind of go into it fresh and see where it takes me, and I think it makes it a little more authentic too.
Yeah, for sure. I I I don't know, like is that something that is going to sound weird? Do you have like little I mean you talked about how you had like a block of like this is a minute of me talking until we get into something else that's been pre-recorded or music or an ad or whatever. Like what happens when you run over? Do you have to like cut stuff out later? So instead of being like, well, later I have a minute, but I'm going to cut it down to 20 seconds so I can recoup some of that time, or like how does that work?
No, if I need something 20 seconds, I can hit it pretty close to 20 seconds. Actually, like usually about the first cut of a 15-second spot, which would be, say I'm going to go live on location somewhere.
Okay.
Few days before, we'll start like a 15-second spot. It's me, hey, it's your old pal Mason. I'm going to be hanging out at Poncheros this afternoon, Friday afternoon, 3 burrito day. Come on in, blah, blah,
Okay.
And it'll be 15 seconds long. Like those, I just do a straight improv on, because like all I need to know is where, and when,
Okay.
where, when, why, maybe,
Yeah. Okay.
but,
All right. All
so
right.
then just kind of goofing around with that a bit. And usually the first one's about 20 seconds. And then and then I'll think more on it. But the first one, just go and then cut from there. But if I have like a specifically, like the 1 minute breaks I was talking about, that's kind of more just across the board in general, radio, like, if you're going like kind of, it's more of a higher market type thing,
Okay. All right.
bigger market,
Mm-hmm.
like all the stuff's more timed. This like being a smaller market and wanting to focus more local, which is something we've been told a lot lately is, we need to focus on our local. Then it's all right to go over it.
Okay.
And if I go over too long, I'll try to cut the next one a little shorter.
Okay. All right. So like, as long as you're like kind of still serving the purpose, it's definitely within the rights of doing that. For those that I didn't even mention it. Fridays, 5:00 regional rock hour. The replay is at 11.
Yeah. Usually, there's not always a replay, but there usually is.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I got to throw that out there. Yeah.
Yes. And you can listen online. I have listened online before when I've been out of town. It's still available, correct, to listen online?
Yeah. I don't know exactly what the stream is, the link or whatever. It's up on our website. We just changed corporations, so I think the link probably changed.
Okay. Yeah. Website is, I'll put the website and stuff down below. So
yeah, there you go.
If you guys need to hunt down where to go, yourfortdodge.com still does work. So, yes, definitely. I just think about that, like how many different people you've interviewed and like how many different people I've interviewed. And it's like, you've been doing this pretty much nonstop for 7 years. I mean, like there's little pockets where like maybe you don't interview somebody this week or something, but like I think about how many people you've had to interview. And some of them are people that some of them like are people that are, pals with you, they see you out and about, you go to their shows and stuff. Do you always research all of those interviews as well? Because I know that like, just from me doing interviews as well, it helps to come in with something, even if you don't follow it, it's still nice to lean back on it. But like, do you always research every interview or come in with like a handful of talking points, or do you sometimes just wing it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually just winging it, and it kind of depends on the interview. Like, the local ones for the most part, if it's somebody around here, if I don't know them personally, chances are like we have a good, mutual acquaintance at least. So it's, like it's never like a complete stranger. Mm-hmm. That, they're in here to, just to, promote themselves. So it's, makes it a lot easier. But,
yeah. I mean, you just have to ask them questions about themselves. What do you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. No way.
Yeah. And a lot of times that's it, it's kind of, what got you into music. Some of them, some people take it very seriously and will almost have like a spiel kind of down, like ready for the basic questions. So I just ask the basic questions and then boom, they're ready to go, like, and I mean, that's always impressive. Like, I appreciate that. Like, that's cool that they're that into it, and, touching back on what you said earlier, that it is really cool. Hearing people like, getting messages too, like when somebody hears their song on, like, hey dude, thanks, rocking. Oh yeah, you're still playing that one. Cool. Like,
that's gotta be cool.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel. None of my songs have ever made the radio. Only time I sing is, that's why sometimes I'll sing like during a shift,
Yeah.
Like one of my other shifts, I'll just, crack into song every now and then, just, so I can feel what it's like. But then I'm doing it live, so I don't actually get to hear it later. But
oh yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, you were talking about that. That makes me think about like even like Love Bomb called in on the last show that I was on. They like called in to say hi. And it's like, that's freaking cool too. Cause it's like, this isn't something where it's like they can leave a comment and you can check it later, or they listen to it 3 days later and comment and you can talk, and like they tuned in live. Like they chiseled out their Friday at 5 to know what was going on. They're like, we're going to call in. Did you end up, cause I was there, but I ended up like leaving cause I was running into the next show, but did you end up plugging that into the regional rock hour?
No, I couldn't. It got too hectic with everything. I don't know if the recording didn't quite come through right or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or, shoot, did I play that?
I don't know if you did or not. There was
no. I think I just mentioned. I think I gave him a shot. I think I tried to record it and it just yeah, the phone line's a little tricky in here.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, there was like 6 people in there for like the birthday party, 92
oh
Rock's
yeah,
birthday party.
yeah, we turned 6. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, like,
Yeah.
where was the regional rock hour on? Was it the Blaze? Was that what it was on before?
No, it was on. It started on 92.1, the Eagle.
The Eagle. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
Dang,
Um,
that's legendary.
yeah. No, and that was. I mean, that's. I still credit the regional rock hour for the format change of 92.1
Oh yeah.
because, I mean, it broke the. Like it started breaking the. Kind of started breaking the norm a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
People will get used to hearing that, even if it was just an hour. But then we're peppering in Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and Soundgarden, all these bands from the '90s. Like start mixing into grunge with it,
Mm-hmm.
and and then it just kind of kept garnering interest. We kept, hey, we change it now. We change,
Yeah.
as during the bosses, it was me and Kurt, the guy that is program director. Just kept hassling the bosses.
So what so when you do some of your interviews, they're not always like explicitly on the regional rock hour. Sometimes you'll just interview people and it'll be on maybe pre-recorded. I'll see them on like Facebook or YouTube or like a link to it somewhere on your website or whatever. How do those come about? Are those just like people that are touring through and you just kind of hit somebody up and see what happens, or how does that all work out?
No. Well, like I would say a majority of my interviews now are actually outside of regional rock hour.
Okay.
Regional rock hour was like most of my first interviews.
Okay.
Like a lot of my first interviews were regional rock hour, and that's what kind of got me consistent with it. That's what got me comfortable interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, now I mean, I'm talking more to like community people, and yeah, you mentioned like there's some bands that basically there's a radio promotions company that talk to the guy. He sends music and check it out. He sets up interviews and stuff with the artists. Sometimes.
Okay.
Just kind of find out about them. Little snippets to play when we play their tunes on air.
Oh, okay.
All just kind of new music, just kind of a way to let people hear what else is out there.
Yeah.
Besides the charting stuff or the like the really popular stuff.
I always feel like it's kind of tough just to get away from that, though. Like, you go to the bar, they have the jukebox. It always plays, like "Rock You Like a Hurricane" or like whatever it happens to be. There's a Nickelback.
The jukebox plays what you pump into it.
Well,
Here's one thing. Here's one thing about the jukebox. I'm paid money at work to play songs for people. I go to the bar and like if I'm at the bar on like say a dart night for 3 hours, I'm dropping like $15 in that jukebox.
Got to get your plays in. No, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I just think about that. Like, it's tough just to get away from what's normally out there. So I guess just to have, like, the radio, I want to say, like, the intel, but just to, like, work in that space and to have the availability to just, like, have a direct plug into all the new stuff all the time. It's got to be really kind of cool, even if it's not necessarily specifically regional.
Oh, yeah, no, and I mean, a lot of those aren't. If they are, like, say, there's been, let's see, like, I think there was a Quad Cities band a couple months ago that he's like, hey, check these guys out. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I've talked with them before. They're awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and, he sent their new tune, so it was, all right, sweet. Yeah, we'll get that on. And that was Archers. I think I added them, or they're from like Chicago, Wisconsin. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, so like, like I dropped theirs in there. There was a couple other bands that were kind of just around the Midwest that he was trying to promote. And I'm like, boom, all right, here's a good, regional way, like out, kind of hitting that audience too that, I hear a lot of people like, they just regional rock hour is, like what they know me for and as. And,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I think sometimes putting those bands, in that spot too, it's, another audience that's tuning in for the hyper local, or maybe, like their band, like they just put a song in and then they got, something else. And, yeah.
Have you ever found any, like, I guess I don't really go to jukeboxes and play music, because usually when I'm at a bar, I'm the one playing the music. But have you ever found anybody's like locally, like their music on a jukebox and been able to play it?
I haven't actually looked, but I mean, those are, it's unlikely.
Yeah, because it's not like
Unlike,
Spotify. There's a finite
those,
number of songs.
yeah, because they, like their licensing too is so much more. And, like with those jukeboxes and them paying, like the reason that you pay $1 a song or whatever is because, the licensing companies are taking so much of it,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
so then it's all artists that are licensed through them and, all
Okay,
that.
okay, that's understandable. Okay. Yeah, I do also know with like some of those, you can like program the jukebox to play certain songs, or allow for the playment of some songs, and some, like, basically like this thing can let's just say it can play 1,000,000 songs. You could be like, well, like 500,000 of these I don't even care about, and I wouldn't want them played in my bar. So you can just like blacklist them and not even have them list in your jukebox anyways, which is kind of crazy to think. Like, I don't know, just the way music like impacts people, I guess. Do you think, like, because I know you as like a metal guy, do you think you've gotten like less picky about music as you've grown?
Um, well, I mean, I like metal a lot, and I have promoted a boatload of metal. I would say I'm more of a punk guy than anything. Like punk's my favorite,
Okay.
um, uh, like 90s skate punk, like
Oh yeah.
that that SoCal stuff, probably like my top. And I mean, like I get into the classic stuff, and there's some new stuff too, punk that I'm still into. But I mean, forever, dude, I've always liked just about everything. Put it on shuffle right now, you'll get from NWA to Gavin Adcock to uh, Bob Marley to, yeah,
You
I'm
did
just all over the place.
cheap plug for you. You did an interview with Gavin Adcock.
Yeah, that one was a bitch to set up.
Oh, I bet, because I mean that was out Chords in the Corn, wasn't it? So that's out at like the drag racing place outside of Humboldt.
Yeah, with doing so yeah, since the last time we talked, I've been doing 10 to 2 on K97, and kind of a few of the back end uh, things on K90, programming stuff on K97.
And that's like the country station for those that don't know.
Yeah, the good 100,000 watt one, big powerhouse, good money maker.
Yep.
Um, yeah, Humboldt County Dragway. Tom and Mel there asked me years ago. They're friends with their sales rep here, and she's like, "Hey, talk to them. I want you to MC this. So I met with them. I think they bought a remote the first one. And then they're like, "Hey, you mind sticking around after and announcing a band?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I think the next one that they did was, like a few months later, they asked me to MC the whole thing, and I said, "Yeah." And now it's they asked me to, and I'm on it. It's a good time.
What was the first event you ever emceed? Do you remember?
It was that Loco Fest I had mentioned earlier.
Whoa, that'd be a
Yeah.
big one to be your first one.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, it was 3 stages. I was just on the main stage. I was going up about every other band, and I was broadcasting in between there too.
Okay.
There was me and a couple other jocks that were broadcasting, but I was kind of manning the helm on both fronts. So it was a hell of a day.
Oh, I bet.
You know? Yeah.
Did you find emceeing is like different than being on the radio or, doing like interview type stuff like this?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's totally different. It's like I'm a lot more comfortable just on air naturally. I mean, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
So, like just sitting here, I guess like if I was on air, I'd be a little more leaned up, and like I'd, kind of be doing more.
Yep.
MCing, going out doing that, it's like kind of the downtime in between, it's like, okay, I can go watch this band, but then I have to be back and be ready to be in position by a certain time,
Mm-hmm.
It's always kind of just watching the clock, like trying to enjoy the show, but then watch the clock at the same time. And then there's other times too. It's, just make sure, everybody's doing all right, shoot the breeze with the artists if they're hanging around.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like getting up in front of people, like I don't get nervous getting up in front of people, and I'll speak in front of people. But again, I think it comes back to that brevity thing where like sometimes I get up there and I'm just like, all right, what a good night it's been. Okay, people. So that last band, like you could just like, I don't know. Like I don't.
Well, I mean, you've seen me MC.
Yes.
And one thing I realized fairly early on, as the MC, people aren't there for you. People are there for the attractions that you're hyping and, all that.
Okay.
So, there's usually just some bit of information that has to get out.
Yeah.
And so that's what I try to do is just tie it in with the whole, working them up, like people that played already, hey, give it up for them. Hey, they're coming out later. Let's hear it for them,
Mm-hmm.
Remind people not to, shove each other in the beer line or whatever, whatever issue they're having.
Yep.
Or like, like say Chords in the Corn, they do an auction and stuff. So it's, and they would have their meet and greets, so, hey, hey, those with meet and greets for so-and-so meet over here, 6:30, over by the concessions, there'll be a line sign. All of that 6:30 is when that meets, blah, blah, blah. Or if there's a couple available, hey, go ask somebody. No, if there's a couple, might be a couple more available, blah, 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 so, hey, go see the merch people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, keeping it quick because, I mean, if I'm, unless I'm telling like a damn good joke, like what's, like what's the point? You don't want to hear from me. You'd rather hear music or talk with your friends,
That's true.
So I try to do my job as quick as I can, get out of there. Unless, like I am on a roll and I'm being funny and then they keep it going. But
yeah.
I guess really hard to do for a big concert crowd, But.
Yeah, I always feel like it's just sometimes it's just difficult for me to pack all the information in and just call it good enough. Maybe,
I forget stuff sometimes too. I mean, like there's been times I've straight glossed over stuff, and whoops, I'll get it on the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe it makes me think about it. And I just looking at the background behind you, there's like show posters. Like sometimes show posters, I feel like fall into the same thing I'm talking about, where they like, you have a lot of information to get on there. It's really not a whole lot, just like the venue and then like where you can, like what time, how much, what bands. So it's like, that's basically all you need on there. But I feel like this is going to sound crazy. I just remember seeing a flyer not terribly long ago, and like the the time it was at was like in one corner, and the venue was like kind of in another corner, but it was a logo that looked kind of like the band's logos. So you had to like really kind of look at it, but there's no address or anything. So you had to just know that it was the venue, and the time was over here. And then at the bottom, it was just like free admission or like what, and it was just like, this is so unorganized. I feel like sometimes that's how my thoughts come out when I try to like MC things or just kind of like do public speaking. I want to get from A to B, and I know how to get there. I just sometimes forget the map, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And, practice, practice makes perfect. The more I've done, the more comfortable I am, the better it is, I mean, for the most part, I can't remember a time I felt good about a break and the crowd didn't, wasn't into it at all,
Yeah.
And yeah. I'm basically just trying not to get booed out of there.
Don't get the hook.
Yeah.
So like recently you were the MC at the Monsters Ball, Fort Dodge. That was an insanely fun show. It's always packed there. It's one of those things where like you look out there, like we were playing on stage with Three Finger Betty, and you look out there and you're like, oh cool, there's like 50, 60, 70 people out here. And then by the time we were done, it's just like, oh, there's like 100 people in the building now. And like, it just gets packed so fast. It's so fun. There's always things going on. I forgot how involved the event was. There's like a dance off, musical chairs, costume contest. There's everything. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Have you always emceed that event?
Not always, because we just had the 15th annual. I think this was probably my 6th or 7th year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was shortly after Regional Rock Hour, started, because it's Gina from Crave Tattoo.
Shout out Gina.
Yeah, she's, been the sponsor of Regional Rock Hour before. It was, the Rock Room at Patty's Pub was the original sponsor. And then when they closed, she, started sponsoring it through her other business, Crave.
Mm-hmm.
And Crave, even when she didn't have the bar, I believe Crave was just throwing it, she was just putting it on, with bands, Pinwheel the first year.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I don't remember if I was actually, I don't remember if I've been to all of them, but I've been to.
I was at that one.
Quite a few of them before I was in radio,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But about half. 5, yeah. Anyway, no, she asked me to do it one year. She's like, I could use the break, and yeah, she's asked me to do it every year since. So, and like, I love doing it. She's got so much else going on at the same time, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially now that she's running one of the bars.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at both floors, she's like managing and stuff, but like, she's like, she was working downstairs and then like coming back upstairs, like back and forth the whole night. Yeah.
She'd go bail out Terry when they got swamped down there,
Yeah.
Which a lot of times I think it was probably between bands and stuff, people would go in there and, like, oh, but the downstairs bar, it's a little more open. I think they might have had like a little bigger selection,
Mm-hmm.
but like not much more. I mean, they kept it pretty good, on the third, but, yeah, no, it gives her the break. Her daughter, Lindy, will assist me like through everything, like all the games and stuff, like the musical chairs, like, she'll be the one that pulls the chair out, or like when I just thought it was getting a little out of control.
Oh yeah.
So she had pulled a chair, and then I pulled another one too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was one round of musical chairs where 2 people were eliminated. They all looked confused, and I was just laughing. I mean, there was still like 10 people left in it, and we had, it's like you have to keep things moving, and yeah, it was, yeah, that's always fun, and then I mean, announcing the bands is always just easy, that's cake. That's like 30 seconds to a minute, minute, maybe 2 minutes,
mm-hmm.
with everything in there. And, I try to just, I've been told it's like almost like a pro wrestling announcer.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that though. Like, honestly, like, this is going to sound dumb, but there was like a show called Wrestling Society X. It was on MTV back in the day, and it was a little goofy. But it was a wrestling show. It was all pre-recorded. They had special effects in there, so it was really weird looking. But the like wrestling announcer was like cutting a promo when he was like announcing the people. And I always thought that was kind of fun that he like had that attitude while he was doing it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I think, I don't know. Plus, like, I think you said it earlier, and it's something that I'm not always the best at, but it was like, they're going to feed off of you. So if you're just up there like, okay, guys, we got a band coming up. They're pretty cool. You should check them out. Yeah, here they are. They're from Des Moines, Three Finger Betty. Like, nobody's going to care. But if you're up there like, all right, everybody, you know, like, hailing from Des Moines, Iowa, you know, everyone's going to be like, whoa.
Well, now I'm like almost seeing that as a challenge. Like, I'm just going to go up there and, hey, guys, we're having a good time, right? You know? Yeah. Hey, come on. Aren't we having a good time? I tell you, no, I do actually like, and I do hate the whole, hey, we having a good time.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah. Oh, that wasn't good enough. Like, yeah, no, I hear it the first time, like, all right, great. Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, it's just
there's for brevity for you.
Yeah. Are you ready to party? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. It's like, okay, we get it. I like watched a video that was talking about this book, and I went and like read the paraphrased version of what they're talking about. It was basically about how to like influence people with public speaking. And one of the fun things that I took out of it, and it was one of the only things I remember out of reading all this stuff, long story short, was basically like, tell people they had a good time or they're having a good time. So instead of like asking the crowd if they're having fun, you tell the crowd that they're having fun. Not to be like, you're having fun, but to be like, you know, what a great night we're having. And everyone goes nuts. And it actually like influences them to think like, you know what, we are having a good night, as opposed to like asking them. Then it doesn't feel as cheesy.
Well, now that you say that, yeah. Now that you say that, I think that is kind of how I phrase stuff usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, hey, what an awesome set we had from Three Finger Betty.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it'll be like, hey, how badass was that last band? Let's hear it for so-and-so, you know, like, you know, it's kind of more like, hey, I'm stoked. We're stoked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is more of a leading rather than, you know, the whole question thing, you know, like, how's everybody doing tonight? Like,
yeah, it did. I think some. Okay, this
brings me back to the, you know, like the meme. I've actually been having a few problems lately. Like the one guy in the back. You know?
For some reason in my brain, I just think in this analogy of like Hulk Hogan. So like when you're a kid and he's like flexing and doing the ear thing, I'm just like eating it up. Like, this is amazing. And the older I get, and nothing against Hulk Hogan or whatever, I just bought it less and less, I guess, you know? And that was the beauty of him turning heel eventually. But like, it just like, he's just like, oh, I can't hear you. And it's just like, okay, well, yay, flex a little bit, you know, like, oh, hey, like, who's noticed? You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the equivalent of that.
Yeah, see, I mean, I'm, you know, huge Hogan fan as a kid. I've been, you know, pro wrestling fan since I was a little kid. Huge Hogan fan. I was actually more of a Roddy Piper fan myself.
Oh, really? I could see that.
Even as a little kid, it was, I was always into Piper. I like the loudmouth. You know, Hogan. Yeah, I don't know. Piper seemed a little. I don't know, just more concise. He seems smarter than everybody too. I think that had something to do with it. Yeah.
So like Piper was so good at just like saying something, and you were just like, oh God, he's saying something insane here. And he would like pull you back into being like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, I remember, and this is crazy because we're just like coming off of Halloween as this episode will air, but like I remember seeing and I'd only ever seen it one other time, and it was the Roddy Piper telling kids how to like trick or treat, and he's like being mean about it, but it like at the end he makes it so wholesome, and you're like, oh, okay, All right. It's like, when you go out, you're not going to cross the street in front of cars. You're going to wear bright clothes because there's idiots out there driving and they'll just as soon run you over. And he's just like going nuts. You're not going to go into nobody's houses. You're not going to be idiots. And then when you're all done, ladies and gentlemen, you kids, you can go home and eat your candy and have a good night. And he just does the whole like Roddy Piper shit eating smile.
Oh yeah. No, that's the thing. Yeah, no, I mean, like he, pretty wholesome guy, I think, in general. But yeah, like he didn't mince words. There was a reality show they had with a bunch of those old wrestling guys.
Yeah.
And he let, like, I was a huge Finkel fan back in the day. Howard Finkel, the ring announcer. They almost got into it because Howard's not one of the boys. He's
yeah,
old school tough guy. Like, didn't care. Like, I mean, cut this dude down on TV and stuff. It was wild.
That's crazy. I mean, unfortunately, we can't plug the event because it has already happened after the recording. But there is actually going to be pro wrestling at the Cardiff Event Center coming up. Some tiny wrestling.
The Mania. Yeah.
I've been to one of those, and they're an absolute blast. Have you ever, like, I'm sure you've gone to a handful of them because they've done events there before. But like local pro wrestling events, you like going to those?
Yeah, they're all right. I've been to a few of those. Yeah, they had that outfit in Algona.
IPW, yep, that was awesome. Impact Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, went there once. Actually, went there a few years ago. Car full of friends, and we were, gonna go check this out. And out the line, it was all like 10-year-old kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is all like little kids. And like, we were thinking, okay, it's indie pro wrestling, we're gonna get rowdy, so we decided against it. Ended up going to the Afterlife and just sitting there and hanging out for a bit.
Yeah.
Had just stepped outside and the owner of the place came out. It's like, what are you guys doing? Like, we're, hanging at this bar here, we're gonna come in, but so it's like a lot of kids and stuff. We were drinking, we didn't want to, we heard you weren't selling beer here, so whatever. And he's like, well, I'm not selling it, but here you go. And he gave us a couple beers. We came in, we were hooting and hollering. We kept the language clean.
Yep.
But we were starting chants and it was awesome. And it was kind of a weird setup, like you see it on TV and you're used to, it's all surrounded. This was basically, it's like a stage,
Yep. Seating only on one side.
Yeah.
That was when it was in the downtown building right next to the Afterlife then.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was fun because, like, if you imagine a downtown building in any downtown establishment and then putting a pro wrestling ring in there, like, you won't be able to get past it on either side almost. And that's basically what this was. They entered from the back of the room, they stepped in the ring and wrestled, and you sat in the front of the room. There was no going around. Yeah. I always liked that kind of setup though, because that place was fun. That's where they trained. I watched a lot of people like wrestle there and get better over time. And I think you said, like, one of the things that I think was probably the most fun about these wrestling events is a lot of them are kid friendly. So like you can go in there and you can get rowdy because these, like, a lot of times the wrestlers want to kind of get rowdy, but like you can't just be like, I guess, whatever, we're almost 50 minutes in. You can't just be like, you piece of shit. Like, you can't just, like, you have to craft something a little bit better to yell at somebody.
Oh, well, that, there was one guy we kept calling cracked out Rick Springfield at Fort Frenzy one time. And, we got his goat so bad, he knocked my hat off my head as he was walking by. And that fucking knocked my hat off my head. Like, it was good. It was good. It was.
I've got, dude. I just think about like some of the reactions. The only reactions I've ever gotten out of wrestlers that were like that is like, I went too far, and I think like some of it was I went to enough shows where they'd see me and they kind of knew me, but like you can't just yell mean like. literally just like the meanest thing you could yell to somebody. Like, I'm trying to think of like somebody's gimmick is based on something that should be something that makes you go aw because it's like inspiring, and then you're just like, you're a piece of trash. Like, you know, you can't just be like, I'm trying to think of like one. Basically, like, I learned not to be like the heel in the crowd because, you know, like I've seen people call people out and do other things. Like the craziest thing I saw somebody do was like, you know, a wrestler like spit on somebody or like blow their nose in their direction from like outside the ring. And, you know, you're just like, geez, all right. Yeah. Like you can't just yell anything you want at these people. But I always thought.
Yeah, no, I found that out, man. I mean, I seriously, like I did. I seriously pissed this guy off. And then I saw him the next time they came to Fort Frenzy. And it was like his big, like 20 or 25th anniversary or something, you know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to say shit this time, man. I let him have his moment. I was clapping and everything the second time. Yeah.
Okay. So that's another thing I think that's funny about those shows is like, it's different than watching it on TV. So you watch it on TV, there's commentators, they're telling you how to feel about what's going on. And when you go watch it live, you don't have that luxury 99% of the time. Sometimes small promotions will have the commentators mic'd up and you just hear it, but that doesn't happen. So in the crowd, you kind of have to know what to look for and cheer for the things. And sometimes it's just like, I've been to enough shows. It's fun to get people to cheer at those events, you know? So like you can actually like control the crowd from the crowd. The first time I'd ever seen that was like, and this is before I ever went to these events, was like John Cena was like the kid's favorite wrestler, you know, every kid's favorite wrestler back in the day. And so like we go to shows and we'd always start like a let's go Cena chant so we could do the Cena sucks when the kids would start.
Oh, yeah.
So, but we'd always start the chant. It's found out how easy it is to start a chant to get people to start cheering and get like a whole section chanting. And you're like, oh, all right. So like, you know, you transfer that to like, you watch on a, you know, pro wrestling show at like, well, let's say the Cardiff Center or wherever you go watch your local wrestling shows. Like if some bad guy's doing bad guy stuff, I'm always just like, boo this man, you know, like,
oh yeah,
this guy sucks, you know, or just trying to be like, ref, look at this guy, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah, try to go along with it. Oh yeah, no, and I get super animated. I saw, and I mean, yeah, I've gotten a few reactions. I got a reaction from a ref once that was pretty funny. It was Riot Fest in Chicago. They have a pro wrestling ring set up, you know, dude, that's like 6 stages, carnival, like all kinds of, you know, really cool festival. They have this El Gato is their referee, and the thing is that El Gato is nothing like a cat at all. He's just really slow. Like he took about 5-6 seconds to get into position for this like pin. The guy barely kicked out at 2, and El Gato, you gotta get into position for that. He had him 7 count. El Gato. He stood up and he just little old round guy, El Gato. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I love that.
He wasn't happy with me. Neither was Samoa Joe the time I saw NXT.
Ooh.
Yeah. You want the Samoa Joe? You mentioned John Cena earlier. So I went to an NXT. It was in Des Moines. You know, not in the big arena, but the vets or whatever.
Yep.
You know, and Samoa Joe was with NXT at the time, and I don't know. I like to troll. I just like to cause a disturbance a lot, you know. And so, like, if I'm in a crowd, you know, like NXT, biggest wrestler in WWE in the time was John Cena. So I just so happened to have the matching John Cena armbands and T-shirt and hat.
Just so happened to. What? You're a big John Cena fan. Let's admit it.
I was that heel run he had. That heel run he had earlier this year. I really dug.
That was interesting.
Yeah. No, I bought it on clearance a while back, like, you know, years ago. It was like just kind of it was really cheap on the website. And I thought, all right, So I got it, and it came in handy because, there was like kind of a spot where there wasn't people like at, and like every now and then like you could just walk up and take a picture or whatever, and nobody's really saying nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So then Samoa Joe's like outside of the ring, and I just kind of walk up ringside, hey Joe. And he looks up and he starts walking towards me, and I legitimately I legitimately had some fear there.
Okay. All right.
Samoa Joe. I don't know if any other wrestler could do that. He's not going to hit me.
No.
He's not going to hit me. I'm not worth him, losing his job and his livelihood, but just something about that dude, yeah.
Dude.
He's got a very mean look to him. And when it's directed at you, it's intense.
Dude, I got one of those. Okay. So like I had bought tickets to an event to go do a meet and greet. Kurt Angle was going to be there. And I was like, this is cool. So he doesn't end up showing because at the time he was working with TNA, and TNA had like other business agreements, and they sent him elsewhere because they allowed people to do outside stuff for a while as long as it didn't interfere with their inside stuff. But they were like, hey, we got an event. Oh, I'm booked somewhere else. Too bad. Break the booking, go somewhere else. So I didn't get to meet him. So later in the year, I went to a TNA event, and then I did a meet and greet, and Kurt Angle was there. And this is funny because like somewhere there's a picture of me with Kurt Angle. I don't know where it's at. I think my friend has it somewhere. But like I look scared like a little bit because like I'm not like scared, but you can see I'm kind of like off. I'm not just like awesome. I'm just kind of like, what the heck? Because before we like took the picture, I was just like, hey, I was supposed to like meet you at this event, and you didn't show up. And he's just like, yeah, I had something else to go to. I'm like, dude, it's such a bummer. I'm bummed I missed you at that event, but I'm glad I'm here. And he just turns and looked at me. He goes, I couldn't go, okay? And like he just had this look in his eyes, and I was like, oh my God, this guy comes up to my shoulder, and he could just wad me up like a paper ball and just toss me in the garbage if he wanted to. I just felt like, oh my God, he's just gonna fold me like a lawn chair. But yeah, one of those types of things. And I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm at Kurt Angle, I'm just like giving like a thumbs up, like whatever, like I got to get out of here. But yeah, there was one of those, and that was me meeting Kurt Angle. Maybe I had him sign a book. I don't know. I don't remember. I was at a point in my life where like I had met so many pro wrestlers at so many different events. I was just kind of like, meh, whatever. Like I remember going to that event and like I met like Gail Kim and like Hernandez and Chavo Guerrero, and I didn't even bring like an autograph pad or anything. I was just like, hey guys, and they're like, you want a picture? I'm like, I don't know. My phone's dead or whatever. Like I don't know. I was just like, whatever. But oh man. I don't know. Pro wrestling, tons of fun. All right. Anything upcoming that you like want to plug? I know that you're always, aside from just doing radio stuff, you do other stuff. Any upcoming events that you know of off the top of your head that you want to kind of push people towards?
Push people towards. Well, I'm sure you've mentioned the third Thursday jam sessions from time to time.
Yep.
I don't actually play them, but I usually pop by those.
Yep.
Yeah, Hampton Devils hasn't been doing anything, so we're on kind of a hiatus. Haven't done anything with that lately. Yeah, and it's winter. It's winter time, Yeah. I mean, it's going to be winter time soon, so like a lot of the events are kind of dying down.
This dumb question: chili cook-off? I know that I had seen or heard something about that recently. Did it already happen? Did I miss it?
Oh, we had one back in. They're in March now.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in March now. There was another one in town. There was another one in like Otho like a month ago or something.
Okay, more semi-regional ones. Do you go to a lot of those, or do you just go to the big one in town?
Oh, I that one. I just compete in that one, and then we do a song along with it. And we've done a handful of shows. I think about since the last time I was on the show, we opened for Green Jelly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah, that was a
cool.
gas. Yeah, no, that was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, that was super cool. Yeah, it was something else. It was a really weird, like, I mean, they're all like weird experimental music, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They like their direct support act was this Sump, and it was like basically a guy with keyboards and guitars, and he's doing everything on loops and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it is just absolutely, it was just absolutely insane music, you know.
Yeah.
He's playing, yeah.
That's super cool. Did, this is a dumb question. Did you ever think that like music was going to allow you to do something like playing music was going to allow you to do something like that?
No, no. And honestly, like, I almost felt I'm like, yeah, we shouldn't be opening for a band that we've heard of. You know, like I shouldn't be opening for this band like whose video I watched like countless times as a, you know, as a kid, like 11, 12 years old. You know, like I had that on a tape, and it was like we were watching that back all the time. Three Little Pigs, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they had that claymation video that was just, you know, hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, like I was always a big fan, you know, and like Maynard James Keenan was in the band earlier, you know, like early in his career,
Okay.
you know, he was in it briefly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
so I mean, yeah, it was nuts. I heard the opportunity, and the guy that we played Des Moines twice, and the guy that booked us the first time suggested us to the promoter when she was looking for, you know, like the local act to play first. Yeah,
That's wild. That's super
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, that was crazy. It
Where was that at?
was Lefties.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Dude, that's super fun. Yeah, plus like, and I'm not trying to be like, hey, but like you have like a promotional tool behind you too, so that'd be a good booking anyways for anybody.
actually, I do not promote. You know, like I never pumped that show. I know. Well, I might have mentioned Green Jelly a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like just yeah. No, I don't think I did, because I mean it's. I always tried to separate the two. Too, you know, like I didn't necessarily, you know, like playing Des Moines especially was great because, you know, like I didn't want, you know,
You get a new market.
yeah, you know, and it's like I'm hoping that there's, you know, more than just the people I invited there, you know, to see it. And I mean, there was a lot of times I, you know, like wouldn't even really invite a whole lot of friends to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm almost just open for, you know, like totally new crowd, people that don't know me at all, and just kind of a clean slate. Here we go, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's funny because you know me, or if it's just funny, you know.
Oh, so you actually are an artist.
But try.
That's gold. I have seen you play live. I believe I was on a show with you at Rides Convention Hall Center area once before. And I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but it always blows me away how much I enjoy it, because I'm like, Mason's funny. He's up there just goofing around, but then like I said, how much I actually enjoy it, because like I don't know, you have a stage presence to you, and it's funny, yes, but it's like Tenacious D funny. You're like, oh, these guys are good. Like this is actually like entertaining and good, you know?
Well, you know, I can kind of sing. I'm a decent singer. Joel's pretty good at guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play anything. That would really help out if I could play guitar and kind of fill out some stuff. But yeah, I mean, basically two guys being a solo act. Every now and then Joel will sing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, for the most part, it's just one and one. And, yeah, no, it's have fun doing it. It's just hard to find the time.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of things. I mean, that's last time I talked to you was on this podcast was 2021. So a lot's changed in, you know, like four plus years, almost 5. Wow. But yeah, man, I don't want to keep you too late, because I know that like we're both working off the clock basically. So, but I do want to say thank you for like coming on and talking with me for a while. you and I, we have the ability to see each other enough, but we don't ever really have the time to sit down and have these like kind of deep conversations. So I appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk with me about this.
No, man, you got it. Thank you for having me. I always enjoy doing it. And yeah, like you said, it's I see you out quite a bit. Usually get to chat for a few minutes at a time. Yeah, so this has been great.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man. Don't go away, but that's the end of the recording.
All right, rock on. Thank you.
All right, there you go. If you listen to this episode and you have not listened to the Regional Rock Hour, I would highly suggest going and listening to that. Mason that show is like the perfect complement to this show. I have a lot of people say you should do a show and have people play music or do like a little radio thing or something. And there's already a handful of those out there, especially Josh's. It's already like really popular. He interviews people too. He does like short interviews. I get the long interviews, so you can kind of get people's personalities coming out instead of just these little 5-minute clips. He does longer interviews as well with other musicians. It's just tons of cool to see all the stuff that he's doing and how it kind of compares to what I'm doing. And one of the things we brought up in here was brevity. That's not always my thing. I like to pontificate. I like to talk and make a point and drive it home and kind of just dance around it and steer towards it and things like that, so like I'm doing right now. But yeah, go check out his links down below. Regional Rock Hour, check out his Facebook page, make sure you check that out. I'll have a link to his TikTok down below as well. All sorts of good stuff down below, so check out all of his links, check out his interviews, make sure you check out the Regional Rock Hour. If you're listening to this and you're in a band that is anything remotely punk, rock, metal, anything in that avenue, alt rock, whatever, Mason's a great person to get to know. So yeah, if you like this, check out his Facebook, hit him up, send him a message, tell him Audible Farm sent you. Thank you, Mason, for joining us on the podcast. I know that Mason's always busy, he's always got stuff going on, and he took some time out of his day to join us, so I appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you to the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. I will check you guys next week. Peace.